Hey everyone, today I am changing the deck assembly to this Cub Cadet SC500Z. This model is similar to other Cub Cadet lawn mowers, push mowers. This is a self-driving one. So the deck assembly right here, I have to replace it because I can show you from the bottom here. I've had this for about, I don't know, 5-6 years now. You can see it's broken over here. It finally gave away over here, down here. I've already taken off the blade. Actually, looks like it might even start cracking or falling apart over here. So anyway, I'm gonna try to replace the deck assembly. I think what I need to do first is to take off these front wheels, the zero turn wheels first. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts, and if I look for here, or actually maybe 6, sorry, corresponding holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there isn't one here. That's interesting. But that should be easy. And then after I take that off, look at the back here. It looks like they have some bolt holes on the side, one on top. Ow. Sharp. All right. The identical holes here. Oh, you can see that. And then you gotta take off the gas motor. And then this, there's actually only one bolt to hold the little side chute here. It looks like there's only one. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna record another video as I start taking different sections off, and I gotta pause this because that little cut I got from that little sharp edge is making me bleed. Hey, I forgot to mention earlier, you gotta make sure you drain your gas out. So I use one of these little pump things. They're like 20 bucks at like Home Depot or wherever your local hardware store is, and I got like a little plastic bottle, put the gas in. Probably a lot of people have seen this, say that's not safe, but I let the cover be a little loose so air can escape, so it doesn't build up pressure in there. And then check every so often, make sure it doesn't fill up with pressure. But anyway, make sure you pump out the gas out of the deck before you tilt it over like this, because then gas could leak everywhere. Matter of fact, if you look carefully, you might be able to see some residue in there, because there was still a little bit left when I actually took out the gas. Anyway, just keep that in mind. Okay, I got the caster wheels onto the new deck assembly. First of all, actually, let me go over here and show you this. I ended up putting on chainsaw gloves because I literally, the deck housing, deck assembly is so sharp, even on here, these old pieces. So I had to wear these just to protect my hands. I recommend others do it too. Let me point this out, that these 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3, these are 1/2 inch. The ones on the side here are 3/8. And I will point out that on my deck assembly, there were supposed to be 2 holes on both sides, but this one wasn't formed properly. But I did notice that I had these bolt holes here, and I don't know why they're not used, but I'm gonna go see if I have some spare bolts to put in that. I think that would help make this a little bit more stable. Not to say that it isn't, but I just feel better doing it. Alright, quick update. I try to find a bolt for that. I don't have one. They're 1/2 inch though, because I tested this on it. So maybe a 1/2 inch, that's about 1 inch long, probably do the job. And here's the other one for reference. Anyway, I'm over here trying to take this part off, and then that's the wheel, obviously. I'm holding the cover here, easily pops off with a flathead. Looks like you're gonna have to take the wheel off because you need to access these 2 bolts. You probably can't see them. They correspond with these holes in the back of the deck. So I'm gonna do that right now, and then I'll show you what's next. All right, I just want to show this real quick. So I took off the wheel. This nut here is 9/16, and then this is actually just a cover. and now you can see those 2 bolts that I was talking about. So now I should be able to take those off, and then do the same thing on the other side, and then take off this bolt on top. This corresponds with this hole here on the deck assembly, and I should be able to take this whole piece off. I probably will have to detach the bar. They're just simply these nuts, twist nuts here, whatever you want to call them. There's one on each side, and I'll just put this bar off to the side because actually no, I lied. Actually, yeah, I'll just put off the side because I have these cables here. They're still attached to where are they attached to? They're still partially attached to the motor and the bottom part here. I gotta figure that out. So yep, anyway, gonna finish doing this part and then come back. Alright, I just want to point this out as an FYI. So when you're taking off the other wheel, be careful when you're taking it off. As you can see here, this has another like geared part to it. This can actually come off. It can be pushed off by the other side. So you kind of have to hold both sides to push it back in. And then I also want to show you the tire here. So let me go show you the other tire first. You can see how it looks like here. This part goes into this part right here. But when I took it off, it came apart. And so what you need to do, you take this piece, put it in there first, and then you put this piece in after. And you can see that it looks just like the other wheel. Okay, anyway, I'm going to continue taking these side ones off, and then this whole piece should come out. I'll also take this off and the other one off, and then figure out a way to take this clip out, so I can get this wire off, or maybe I'll just kind of have it off to the side. I don't know yet. All right, one more update. So I ended up taking off the cover that was here. There were 2 3/8 bolts there, and the reason I did that because I had a suspicion, because I have a self-driving mower, that I need to take the belt off, which I did, because if I didn't take that off, this one would come off. So I have to take this off. Now I can finish taking this off. I also want to point out that I had to detach the pull cord from the hook, and then I still have to figure out a way to take this this off. I'm thinking, if you can see it, you can actually pull this back and push this down, and then pull this out, I believe, and I should be able to detach it that way, and then reconnect it is just the reverse. Then after that, all I have to really do is put the engine back on, which should be 1 2 3 bolts, and that should just come right out. Alright, so I'm going to probably not do another major update, because I'm going to try to get this finished before I run out of sunlight. Alright, I said I was going to update, but I had to real quick. So I was able to get the back on like I was supposed to. Got the 6 screws in, and I would recommend that when you're doing them, like you do one here, one there, one there, you know, alternate your sides as you're putting it in. But you have to make sure these notches get in, these 2 notches. It was kind of a pain to put in, but once they're in, everything kind of lines up. You need to do these top ones first. Another thing I want to update, I didn't have to take this off. There was actually enough cable for me to just kind of put it to the side. I also want to point out another thing. So I saw this little thing and I started freaking out. I'm like, oh, I didn't take this out. That is actually the nut that goes here. It's the thing that actually screws in the handles, and it happened to pop out over here. So, you know, make sure that you keep an eye out for that. You don't want to lose those. But yeah, that's where that goes. And then, you know, you have this little piece that goes in the top there when you screw those handlebars in. Hey, I realized I should put these wheels on before I put the motor back on. So one thing when you're putting it back on, just make sure you don't forget to put this on. I forgot to put this on. You can look at it, you can see the part with this little bump is facing outward, so that can go over the gear section there. Okay, just remember to do that, and then make sure that these gears line up with that gear. Make sure that's pushed in. Alright, I'm almost done here. As you can see, I got the motor inside the new deck, and I got the bolts in. It was actually really hard to get out. Eventually, what I did was end up just flipping the motor totally flat. Like I said, it's important to get the gas out, so you can do that. And then I was able to take the bolts out. And then I also took off the little side flap thingy that goes here, you know, where that hole is. And it's actually important that you leave this flap off as you're doing this, because you need to be able to put your hand through the top here and then screw in these bolts with your hand at first, so the motor is stable enough for you to tilt it like this and then finish it off with your wrench. So now I'm going to put this flap on. Oop. The bolt for this is 3/8, and these were 1/2 inch. And I will also point out, you may have noticed that there's something missing here. That piece does come off. There's nothing holding it really in place. It just slips right back on. So now I'm just gonna then slip this belt. How did I do it? It's hard to do with one hand, but you basically gotta turn this in such a way. There we go. And then you just make sure it goes on there. So now that's in place. And now I'm gonna finish the rest of this and then put the flap on, get the blade on, fix the handlebar, and we'll do a first test run. Actually, I forgot something. So you actually have to put this cover on, and then make sure you use your safety. So put your blade in between there as you're putting it together. And then for, where's this thing? The thing that goes here, the wash port. I already pulled the cap off. Forgot where I put it, misplaced it, but this is 3/8. I just wanted to mention that. All right, everyone, this is how it looks. Everything's put back together, as you can see. Okay. Looks like it's brand new, even though you can see it's the old motor. And, you know, there's other old stuff. But anyway, we're going to do our first run. See if I can do this with one hand. Look at that. Looks like it works. Everything's good. All right, thanks for watching my video.